hello again. I got the request yesterday to finish coloring up this image, so since I was going to be doing that anyway, I thought, why not get it on video? There's, no specific little, I guess, direction for it, but we'll just finish coloring her up and I'll kind of show you my process for doing that. When I color my images, I like to pull my papers that I'm going to be using for my cards before I start coloring up the clothes and stuff, because I like them to match. So these are the papers that I pulled that I'm going to use with her. This is that little Tree Trimmer Kaylee, again from Some Odd Girl. And then I just pulled all of my Copic markers, the colors, to match the colors in the paper as best I could. That's just me. That's how I like, I like the challenge of kind of trying to match up my Copic colors to my papers. And I think it's fun to do that. So, okay, I'm going to get started now. I'm going to start with her headband, and I'm going to make that the dark green. And I'm going to do a combination of YG67. It's actually probably one of my favorite greens. I really like. I use it in a lot of different combinations. Okay. Now I'm going to jump to a G99. This is my really dark green. I have two green combinations that I'm going to be using on her. The light green, yellowy green, and then this darker green from the paper. A little bit over here. Because remember, my light source is coming in from the left, so my lighter area is always going to be here, and opposite that will be more in shadow. And then for my darkest color in the combination, I'm going to use a YG99. And that's just going to hit a touch, underneath that bow where there's a shadow falling. On this side of that bow here. And then just a bit as it wraps around away from our eye. And that gets our color on. Now we're going to go back and work our way back down to the G99, blending them together now. I'm going to spin her a bit this way. And I'm going right over the YG99 and pulling into the white. Same on this side. Going a little bit further. And then I'm going to finish up with the YG67. Filling in that area we left white in the start. And that's just going to give me a nice dark green to match my paper. Okay. So now I'm going to do the lightest part. I'm going to use my E81 to kind of create a white. And I'm going to do her stockings in it. And I'm just going to basically putting color down only in the areas that are going to be have a little bit of shadow to them, because that the trick with white is not putting a whole lot of color down on the image. Otherwise, because I'm choosing to work with an earth tone, the E81, the more I use of it, the browner the area is going to look. And then I'm going to use my colorless blender, and I am just going to saturate this area with it. And then while this is still wet, I'm going to go back with my E81 again. I'm just going to light flicking motions, pull a little bit further into the white area, and that will just kind of lighten up this second coat that I'm getting on here as the colorless blender and it dry together. The only reason why I'm doing this is because there's not another E80, you know, in the E family with the E80s, there's E81 and E87, which is a lot darker. So I don't have like an E80 to blend with, so I'm just kind of using my colorless blender and multiple applications of the E81 to get myself some shading with just that one marker. And I'm going to use it on her little fur trim up here too. Just little squiggle motions. And that's all I'm going to do on that one. Okay. And this I'm going to let dry, and then I'll see where I am after it all brightens up and see if I need to do anything else to it or not. Okay, so I had some black in my paper, so I decided to go with black for her shoes, and the best black combo that matched the paper was the toner grays, so I used the T5, 7, and 9. And I'm just working always with that light source in mind. So, you know, everything on this side of her body is going to be a little bit darker. And then as it wraps up over her toes, the light will be shining more on those. So I'm leaving that white to start with. And then I'm going to my T7. And then my T9. And working my way back down now. And I'm just blending up with the T7. And finishing off with my T5. A little circle motion. Just blending finely those together. Okay. Got that. So now I'm going to do her dress in red, and I picked an R37 to start with. And so I'm just going to get the color on. And then down here on the skirt. And now she's got these pleats and folds going on. So in the parts that dip down, I'm going to get my color on first, because they're going to be more heavily in shadow. And then down here underneath the ornament, under her arm, there'd be a shadow going all the way up. There we go. Okay. Now I'm actually going to an E08, and these last two colors in my combination are actually earth tones instead of reds, but it just matched the red in the paper a whole lot better than if I was trying to stay all with R markers. Like I've said before, there are a lot of earth tone, the E's, that play really nicely with reds, and they'll kind of open up all the options that you have in color combinations that you create. So now I'm going to go with E19 for my darkest in the combination. I'm going to hit the shadows with it underneath that arm, down in this little pleat, underneath the ornament, back here, underneath the fur trim. Okay. So I've laid all my color down. Now I'm going to work my way back down, and this is where I start blending everything together. E08. And I'm going to kind of pull towards my light source. So I'm starting over top the dark area with that E19, and I'm pulling into the white that I left. Same up here. Back here underneath. And then I'm going to finish off with my R37. I'm going to come from the opposite direction, blending down into there. And that's going to give us a nice little dimensional look to the folds on her skirt and up here on her dress. Okay, so we got a nice little red dress there. Now it's decision time on the bows. Let's go back to our dark green and get some more of that on the image. So just like the headband, I'm starting with my YG67. Just getting the color on. With as small as these are, I probably could get away, be comfortable enough if I wanted to go dark down to light. But this is just, I'll make this, this will be fine. Now to my G99. And there's not, you don't have to get super detailed on anything this small. Just little, dot some color on that you can blend in. Back there. And the YG99. Just in our darkest shadows. Here on our leg. And now I think I'll probably skip the G99 and just go straight to the YG67 to blend that all together. Because it's such a little area. And it'll be fine. Okay. Filling in all that white space that I left. Okay. And what else do we have? I'm going to do the light green now. And I'm going to do the ornament in the light green. And I'm going to actually start with the YG21. And I'm going to start laying the color in opposite our light source. Because I'm going to have, it's hitting more on this area, so I'm going to leave that white to begin with. Okay. I'm even going to kind of pin in, because those I'm going to leave absolutely white at the end, and I just want to remind myself of that. Okay, so now I'm going to go to YG03. It's another one of my favorite greens. It's a yellow green technically, and so is the 67. But they're both, the YG03 and the YG67, I use in a lot of different combinations, color combinations. And then don't forget this side of the ornament. Even though it's close, it is wrapping away from the eye. It's that round object, so you want to get a little bit of hint of the darker color back there. And now I'm going to jump up to a YG95 for my darkest. And this was just because the paper had this really kind of yellow-green that it's a little bit vintagey looking, so that's why I didn't stick straight with the 03, which is very bright. I needed to mute it down a little bit. Now I'm just going to work my way back down. Pulling in towards that area I left white. And then with my YG21, okay, and now to really try to match it closer to the paper, I'm actually going to do a coat of the Y04. And it's one of the bright yellows. And this is just going to go over the whole thing. Totally just to try to match my paper that I'm using better. And really yellow up these colors I just put on. Okay, and I'm going to let that dry for a little bit, and then I'll probably play with it a little bit again in a minute. Now, let's see, what do we got left? We got the little bit of gold, and on the topper of the ornament here, it's a Y26. I'm going to do the little bells with this as well. Y28. And a Y13 over the whole thing. This is a combination I use for, you know, like a metallic gold a lot. Usually I throw in a Y21 as well, like before I put the 13 in. But as small as these are, you know, see, it's not making that much of a difference. So Y13, Y26, Y28, and again I'm going to let that dry, and then I'll hit it with the Y26 again for a little bit deeper shadow. Now, what I'm going to do with that bow up there. Let's go red with our R37. And then the E08. Finishing it off with the E19. And then back down to the E08. And finishing it off with the R37 over that whole thing. And we'll just give her a little bit of T9 and T5 on her little choker there. A little bit of E81 just in the little underskirt there. Okay, so now it's time to take a look at what I got on her stockings. See if I need to do anything. I think I'm going to leave them because if I add any more E81, they're going to stop looking white. And then we want a Y26 just to reinforce the shadows on our gold pieces. And then our little ornament is not looking too bad. Let's see. I don't really want to go darker. Does it need any YG21? You know, I don't think so, because then once I get probably some either a Copic X-Press It glitter pen on there or Secure Clear Glaze pen, it's going to look, you know, just the way I want it to. So I don't think I need to blend that out anymore. I might take, oh, let's see, let's go we did 37 on her dress, so I'm going to look for R35 just to give her a little bit more pronounced lips. Keep it in the same color family. Okay. And she's pretty much done and ready to go on a card once I get that all put together. And I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and thanks for the suggestions. I'll be starting a new list, and see you in a little bit. Bye.